Hi, and welcome to More Human, More Resources, the HR podcast for entrepreneurs. I'm Vicki Brown, your host and CEO of Edomineo Enterprises. As a serial entrepreneur, I understand that having the right expert help has been critical to my success. That's why I'm dedicated to telling you, in plain language, what's going on in the world of HR that might impact your business, and what you need to do about it, with real actionable tips to help you master that list of must-dos and grow your leadership muscle. First things first, the information contained in this podcast is provided for general purposes only and is not to be considered legal advice. Your decision to adopt or not adopt any practice or procedure mentioned in this podcast is solely yours, and we bear no responsibility for the outcome. We urge you to always consult legal counsel and other appropriate licensed professionals. And with that, let's get into the show. You're listening to Season 1, Episode 28. In this week's episode, our question of the day is, are you making your employees lazy? So what about it? Is your leadership style accidentally making your employees lazy? What about this example? Your new team member manages HR for your clients. Well, of course, this is the example I'm going to give because, well, I run an HR company. So, she says, the client's sales manager just called. He says his assistant is awful and he wants to fire him right away. What should I tell him? So what about it? Have you ever had a member of your team ask you a question like this? Oh, it may not be about a personnel issue, but they have a question about a relatively routine situation, and they're asking you what they should do. What did you say? Did you ask them a bunch of questions so you could understand the issue more clearly and then offer your opinion and then give them a course of action? Because if so, you may have reinforced a really bad habit, coming to you for the answer instead of independently solving it on their own. Now, I'm not saying don't offer proper training. For one thing, it's critical that people get the tools and knowledge they need to be effective in their jobs. And besides, onboarding and ongoing training programs are just good business practice. And sure, there is certainly a ramp up to being fully incorporated into their job responsibilities. After all, no one comes newly to the team ready to perform like your seasoned pros. And I'm also not saying don't provide support. Sometimes we all need to bounce things off one another. As they say, two heads are better than one. And sometimes you just need to verbalize or to hear the problem out loud to clarify your thinking. But if you provide both proper training and support, and you find you have a member of your team that consistently comes to you asking for the answer, well, you're just going to have to push that baby bird out of the nest. They're using you like the Google search bar, asking for the answer instead of developing one on their own. The truth is, we can, unintentionally, encourage this type of behavior. I know I've been guilty of this many times. Why? Well, because it's really nice to feel like you're the one who always has the answer. Actually, on a side note, in order to be a good and effective leader, we have to all get beyond that I want to be the smartest person in the room and the I will always have the answer thing. Aside from it being an unrealistic goal, it's not healthy. If you're always the smartest person in the room, then you're hiring the wrong people. You should be growing your team with people who excel where you don't, who have a different genius zone than you do. Otherwise, you might as well hire drones. Another reason we end up encouraging Google search bar behavior is because it's also nice to know your team member is going to handle the situation exactly like you would, because you just told them exactly what to do. But that's just all feeding your ego and not at all helpful for your team member. If you keep doing that, they won't ever grow, and you won't get the time to concentrate on your other tasks. You know, the ones that only you can do, the ones you should be doing, the tasks that actually move the company forward. After all, that's why you hired them in the first place, to free up your time. And you won't get the benefit of their expanded thinking or their fresh perspective, because they won't have one. It'll all be yours. So, how do you help them break that habit? Well, When someone comes to you with, "Give me the answer," on their lips, just turn the question around. When they say, "What should I do?" ask, "What do you think you should do?" I know it sounds like something a therapist would say, but therapists are onto something. After all, it's the same type of situation. They aren't going to tell you what to do. They help you discover what's standing in your way of making the right decision. That should be your tactic when you're dealing with your employee. Have them walk you through what they think they should do, step by step. When they're done, it's fine to offer an opinion on their solution, but be careful here that you remain encouraging and don't shut them down. Remember, stop trying to be the smartest person in the room. If they can't give you a step-by-step, then back up in the process a bit. Ask them what additional research they think they should do. Then tell them to go off and do it. And then come back with a proposed solution. Then take a deep breath, because I know this all makes things a bit slower, and I'm certain you'll be thinking, look, let's just get the answer and get on with things. But remember, you're putting in time and patience now for the future dividend of having a seasoned employee later, and I'll take that trade any day. Actually, for your team to be at its most effective, you have to get everyone in the habit of offering solutions to the questions they pose. In fact, my motto is, if you bring me a question, it better be married to a solution. This forces people to stop and think before they take the easy route. And that's what you want, critical thinking. That's why you hired who you hired. Collaborating, getting another perspective, that's all great. Consistently asking for the answer, well, that's not great. Make it a habit to gently train your team to bring you solutions along with their questions. They need to show you they've done the work and put in the thought time to figure it out. And now they just want your opinion or feedback. It's that whole teach a man to fish thing. Being self-sufficient is a gift, and it's a gift every member of your team deserves. If you found this information helpful, please leave a review and tell a friend. Thanks for spending the time. Until next week, same time, same place.